Live. What's up, y'all? This is Black Anime Geek, and usually I do streams and little talks about anime, and we might talk about some anime, but for now, this is going to be a free flow podcast, mini short podcast with my special guest. I'm leaving Earth now. He's written. How many books have you written so far? 5, 7?
That's a good question. Yes. The first book, pardon, the first book was Is Mothman Related to COVID-19? That was the book that kind of like stirred things around, and I can tell the artificial intelligence has been trying to track me down because everything since then, it seems like slowly but surely they've been trying to displace the information that I've been putting up on Amazon.com. And with the last one I put up, it was concerning the alleged Bob Lazar person who worked in a facility out in Area 51 called S4. And as soon as I put that up, within 5 minutes, artificial intelligence blocked it not only one time, but 4 times.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we're going to talk about the Matrix, and we're going to talk about, things that relate into the Matrix. Honestly, everything relates into the Matrix. Everybody's Matrix is something that is being created because humans were here to create. So I got a question for you.
Absolutely.
Now, me and you were talking about the architect a couple of days ago.
Right.
Why didn't the architect really mention the Frenchman? Because I think the Frenchman played a very significant role in the Matrix movie, but they didn't show him as much as they could have showed him.
Man, Black Anime Geeks always asking those questions, man. Well, for me, rewatching it, the first segment, multitudes of times, even just most recently, I've come to the humble conclusion that the Frenchman is actually just a younger version of the architect.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the architect created himself to be olden looking. And when he was trying to break down to Neo inside of the TV screen room, what was going on, of course, for those that are conscious, we know that Neo was going to go against the grains of that anyway, and he did. He said, "You better hope we never meet again. We won't." And then that door appears, right? Because they knew with the choice that he was going to make as far as Trend was concerned. But I have every reason to believe that the architect created a offshoot version of himself and made himself younger inside of the second one to throw Neo off.
For sure. I look at the architect, and I said it a couple of days before. I look at the architect as someone that has created something that he doesn't understand why that 0.0001% broken thing that he created for the system is hacking everything. He doesn't even know the answer himself, and you said that too. How do you answer something like that to something that shouldn't even be possible? But
Right. Well, then that's a very rare statement that the architect made anyway, because it wasn't that he didn't have the power to put him down. he only had his free will choice power to tell him that he was that 1% that actually made it through. You know, and yeah, you know, pretty much that is an extremely rare process, because it's like, okay, what if we use Neo in another scenario to where he went back into a strip club, and Trent was not there? Would we expect the same results from Neo, like what he did in front of the Frenchman, anywhere else in the system? Like, what if he walked into like a strip club because, say, there was a phone in the back of the office in a strip club that was a secure line? Like, what if he had to go there? Will we still look at him the same? And would there have been other women in red dresses trying to stop him from getting to that secure line?
Yeah. I think with Trinity, she plays such a big role with the Matrix movie itself. And it's like, she wasn't the most powerful, but she was the most powerful. Because without her, Neo would be dead. Neo would be completely dead. Everything that Morpheus had fought for, everything that they all fought for, it would have just been a waste. I was watching the first Matrix movie about a couple of weeks ago, and I started looking at everybody's perspective. I went into everybody's brain and dimension, understanding where they're coming from. And they were looking at Neo like they were questioning if he really is the one. The only one that truly believed that he was I won't even say the only one, but one of the first to find out that Neo was real was APOC. APOC was one that didn't believe in Neo because he was so jealous of Neo, because why is this guy the one? I thought I was the one. Trinity, why don't you love me like that? That the very beginning scene of the movie, he's already asking her, you love him, don't you? You've been checking on him. He was already aware, but he just couldn't fathom in his heart that he just wasn't that guy. He wasn't the one. And that's what led to his death.
Because Neo needed to become awakened by the counter force that was always there and aiding and guiding him. He got to that point to where he knew enough was enough. From him going back and forth to work every day, Mr. Anderson going back in the office and having those type of talks and stuff like what you do in the corporate world and whatnot. You know, like what we had mentioned before, even, that's the same stuff that goes on everywhere we are, and especially within this part of the universe. And you know, like a lot of us are on a certain frequency to where the time mechanisms within those frequencies has us all experiencing different things. But then at the same time, or another, we've actually thought about this system. But when we were so tired at the end of the day within the false realm, and we just needed to hydrate and eat, and we needed rest, and we needed, right? We became used to it. It's like the person that goes to the coffee maker every morning. You know, like the person that walks to the Mr. Coffee every morning and says, what will it be? Will it be a decaf, espresso? Let me see. Decisions. And that's exactly what the architect, the Oracle, and the agents, and the machines. These are all four different things going on all at the same time. It's like, you know, Black Anime Geek, it's like walking into the grocery store and you seeing four different girls significantly controlling one of them. The architect could have created another offshoot software. One of them could be an Oracle, right? And then another one could be one that has thought about, you know what, I thought about it before about waking him up. I've seen him before, but I'm just too afraid because if I do that, then I'm not ready for what's beyond that door.
Ooh, that was deep. That was very deep.
And you know what? As a matter of fact, that door that the architect created after Neo said, "You better hope we never meet again," and we won't. That door was a door that the architect created. That wasn't a door that Neo created. The architect made that door. So that wasn't even Neo's sound grand choice anyway.
It was like it's like Neo doesn't believe in fate, but fate is still believing in Neo. Because if the architect made the door specifically for Neo, how, like the question is like, how does the architect still not know the answer on how they're meeting and how he just broke out of the matrix the way he did?
Right, because it's just like it's like playing okay, say like you're playing a video game, say like you're playing like 2K Live or something.
Yeah.
And you find out that there is a particular spot on the court that because of the way that the game was created, you can even be further and make the same shot every time, but you don't even need to keep proving it to yourself. You already know that that shot exists. You just need to make one approach, and then see, like, it only takes that one time. And that's why Neo did not need multiple doors open to go to the architect. And that's because really what it was that the architect knew that when he was a hacker back in the fake world, if he could do everything that he could do leading up to that point, actually, that was an access grant to the architect. Neo actually hacked his way to that door. The architect made that door after he said, "You better hope we never meet again." But the door that got him there was the door that Neo created. He hacked. He hacked to the architect.
Yeah, it's insane. And, it still takes me years and sometimes even higher dimensions to realize the true meaning of Agent Smiths and the rest of the agents. It's like there was, I'll say it like this. This is my theory about the Matrix and what they were trying to tell us. There was about 4 different versions of Neo that we saw throughout the 3 movies, or 4 movies if you want to count the last one. But I'm specifically talking about the 3 movies. It was the man that was protecting the Oracle, Neo, and the Frenchman. And I even want to say Agent Smith was the Neo. But he was the Neo for that Matrix and beyond, because he realized that he can hack, he can go outside of the Matrix. He was finally realizing that. He already knows that he's one of the strongest characters, and he knows that there's something that they know that we don't, and we need to figure out how we can get to Mount Zion. Agent Smith figured it out, and it even took the AIs to collide with Neo and say, "Will you defeat him?" Because if Agent Smith would have gotten to that part a little bit farther, it would have been over. Neo had to become powerful enough to just realize that, hey, even though I'm out of the Matrix, I still have tons of power to where I can stop things with my hands still, even when I'm not plugged in. I still have the infinite belief. I still have that, and I'm still going to keep on going higher and higher and higher and higher. People are afraid of death. So what makes them afraid of death? Knowing that they can go a higher frequency vibration, but then having other people realize that you're going to that route and them trying to stop you, that's where the Agent Smiths come along because they're watching you. I was told at least 3 times by 3 different people how they were watching me going different places to different places. I didn't even see them.
Can you touch on? I'd like you to briefly go back and touch on the surface of what you had just recently told me the last time we conjoined about that conversation that you had in the bar about those entities. Would you be willing to touch on that briefly? Because this is stuff that people need to hear out in YouTube land, anywhere in the world that they are. And this right here is definitely a wake-up call because, like the energies, like the frequency, like the positive energy and frequencies are, definitely on our side. But could you please briefly touch on what it was that you had aforementioned to me about that bar scene, like that bar talk scene?
Yeah.
As of recent.
Yeah. So recently, I'm gonna tell people the very beginning of it, and then I'm gonna get to the recent part.
Yeah.
So it was about 3 months ago. I'm out to the backside at the bar that I work at, and I'm seeing this. I'm seeing one of my coworkers. He has a laser, so he's basically just shining through the sky. He's just looking at the sky. He's looking at the moon. He's looking at all of that stuff. And while he's looking at that stuff, we're talking about it. And, he's usually like a high vibrational person. And he's just like happy, uppity, just an alien-like movement type of energy that he always flows through. And all of a sudden, it turned dark so fast where it made me believe this is not, a regular human. And
Wow.
in the part where it really messed up my mind was when we were talking about, how he does the lasers up into the sky, and then he saw a specific airplane that had a triangle, like a triangle thing, like eye thing. And he was telling me like, yeah, I even looked higher than that. And I'll tell you this, there was something that was blocking the even further beyond type of like sky. Like something was blocking it. And there was airplanes that were literally, flying through, like they were following the laser and stuff like that. So what he was basically saying was it was like a Truman Show type. It was like a globe, like the sky is basically like a snow globe. Because he said that it just couldn't. So once he's telling me that, it changed my whole perception. It made me realize that this is really not a joke at all. And we went back to our workplaces. We went back to our little jobs, and he acted like he didn't say it. Like he just acted like he went back to his regular alien energy type of route. And I'm still over here shocked. And I'm looking at everybody just like they're like AIs. And it's like there's something hovering them. Like it's an invisible hovering that's on top of their head.
Absolutely. So pretty much he was saying that the world that you live in is not really the world that you live in.
Yeah.
Look at it like the Truman Show. Remember Jim Carrey was being watched even in a bar in that movie by people sitting around and looking at all the episodes of his life, and they had actors in there and stuff portraying to love him, and they didn't really love him. Only the one behind the wall at the end of the movie. They said, Truman, no, I love you, Truman. No, they're lying, Truman. No, they're lying. Exactly. That was Trent. What women do you know around you right now, family or not, that has that type of energy that is willing to sacrifice everything to come to your aid in your need to wake you up. And this goes for men all over the world, even pimps. Because, I remember we were, touching on the head of that too, about how a lot of them are changing their lives and putting out books and going into music and doing film and pretty much turning over new leaves of like a conscious, like they're having like conscious moments where they know that this benevolent creator is waking them up and shaking them to the core to where even them being pimps and hustlers and this, that, and the third was not even supposed to be their ultimate path. And, that's a very deep way of even looking at it, because Jim Carrey, like when he, like in that movie, when he figured it all out, he said, it just goes round and round and round and round. I remember on our Trash Day, and he had Laura Linney from the Mothman Prophecies movie. Right? And if anybody out there in YouTube land has not had a chance to go on Amazon.com, go up on there and go research the criteria that I put up there so far. Nobody wants that stuff. Like AI is smashing at the bits and pieces as we speak. They don't even want that stuff to exist anywhere in this world, because that type of dynamic information will wake you up. And they don't want that stuff out there. And I'm not the only one, but this is very, very serious stuff, even down to the radio station that he was listening to in the car in the movie. And that movie came out back in 1997 or I think 97, 98, yeah. Truman Show. But okay, so Laura Linney, the same person that posed as his wife that was doing a Coco commercial in the movie where he was like, who are you talking to? No. Who are you talking to? Oh, Truman, stop, you're hurting me, Truman. Yes, everybody, Laura Linney, that was the one that played a real-life person in the movie, The Mothman Prophecies, about the Mothman cryptoid in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. I've put so much criteria into place about that. It's not even funny at this point. But wait till this next piece that I drop. That'll be done soon, Black Anime Geek. Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm working on it as we speak. And by the way, did you actually get the app that could read, the AI app that could read the book to you in the first segment? How you know with that? I couldn't specifically find it. It didn't have that app that you told me about, but I'm still gonna look for it. And if all else, I can just read it at the end of the day. Yeah, no rush. That's a lot to swallow still. And here we are, about to release the 8th one. Ooh. But I can guarantee it's not going to be on Amazon.com. And you know what? I just checked up on Amazon, and respectfully, this is not a dart contest at Bob Lazar. Okay, I wrote that book and put those pieces together out of humility, and took the time out of my personal life and my private sanctum to do that, with respects to educate people, even Bob Lazar, about how much people really care about information and how humbled and humiliative we can be beyond what people say when we question things in the world that we live in. That book is still above Bob Lazar's on Amazon. He has 5 stars, and it's shining bright there for him. But right above his book is my book, Mothman Spaceship versus Bob Lazar's Bent Times. And it's a very, very serious piece. And so anything else to add, Black Anime Geek? I'm gonna answer your question about the Trinity. I got 5 more minutes, but yeah, I got you. I'm gonna absolutely. I'll tell you about that before I get to the Trinity one. I'll tell you about the current thing that happened recently at the bar.
So basically, guys, I experienced seeing an angel in human flesh. And he was basically telling me, yes, it took you a long time to finally realize that most of these people are aliens or men in black. The one that just passed us right there, that just walked by us, he's one of them. That's why he left, because it got too hot for him because we were talking about this and he went right inside. He went right inside. I'm leaving Earth now. He went right inside after we started talking about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brother right here, Black Anime Geek, I'm telling you, he's one of the great minds that we have in this universe abroad. And y'all just heard what this fine gentleman just said. This fine conscious gentleman on this YouTube platform telling y'all stuff like this. There are people all through and through this conscious community that do not even bring this stuff up on their YouTube platforms. And he's telling y'all this, that this is going on right in front of you. This information ain't no joke. This ain't no game. We don't come on here, to play games with this stuff. This is not a game. Now, sure, we can come on and laugh and joke and keep the positive vibes and energies of, going and drifting. But this is not a game. Wow. I think we'll probably have to do another segment just on that alone, Black Anime Geek. I don't think they're ready for that.
Yeah, we might have to do a part 2 on that one. Yeah, we'll have it'll have to have its own segment. But guys, I'm gonna end the stream here. I think this was a nice convo that me and I'm Leaving Earth Now had, and it's going to continue to get deeper and deeper. I'm more than just someone that watches anime. I also look at anime as a deep seeking truth of a philosophy of understanding and just keep on pushing. Even when people are trying to tell you that you're wrong or what you're doing is wrong, it doesn't matter. You go by the way you go. We need more of that. We need more of people that, are very conscious enough to understand the good and the bad, to compare and to contrast, the Libra, the balance of the scales. We need people to understand that. And there's not a lot of people that do. It's either, are you a good guy or are you a bad guy?
Hey, Neo was the ultimate semblance of that, and he finally understood that in order, even in the Virgo archetype energy, he understood that he can grow to enormous heights, widths, and depths and never be stopped as long as he seeks that balance point. Because as much as I love to come out and talk about the Aquarian age, I'm hearing more and more Aquarians talk about how we need balance. I heard Brother Lupe Fiasco when he was giving a freestyle on one of his short videos. This is balance. And Lupe Fiasco's an Aquarius. So, we cannot go on in a drift out in the universe as if justice to the benevolent creator is just nothing, and we could just turn a blank eye to it and just keep treating it like it's nothing, just because the system in this world has lied to you and turn things around, to humiliate you and do things to gain more mischief and power. That is not the same thing that we're talking about with the benevolence of the creator. And so we'll get more heavily into that next time. That's all I got, Black Anime Geek. And thanks for having me.
It was nice having you. So, guys, I'm going to end the stream. I will probably start doing more content on Hunter x Hunter since, they're not really doing anything. So I'm going to live stream my chapter reactions of the current arc that I'm reading right now called the Chimera Ant arc, something that is my favorite arc from the anime. So, that's it to be continued. Other than that, I'm going to see you guys later. We're out.
Yes.